Hello, everyone,
Welcome.
and welcome to the webinar. Another webinar, another year, and here today it will be shared across YouTube, across LinkedIn. Me and my partner, co-founder of INNELS, Andrejs, we are in a fancy studio today, organized by our great marketing team. Thanks for this. And I just want to say that this is a webinar about how to sell on Amazon in 2026. It's going to be approximately 1.5 hours. Will be two of us speaking for the first half an hour, speaking about the biggest trends, about the biggest shifts. Maybe slightly we will touch 2025, what happened, and the biggest trends we saw. And for the next, then for half an hour, we will be speaking with Nix, our head of operations, PPC, head of PPC as well, about PPC itself, advertising on Amazon, how it is shifting. And then for another half an hour, our head of design department, Yulia Miliutina, will join and speak about latest trends. And yeah, quite exciting topics. Amazon is shifting quite a lot from a very traditional advertising to like a full marketing advertising. I will speak about this later today as well. But if you're here, feel free to share this webinar across the platforms. Let us know if you have any questions, especially in the end. We'll have Q&A in the middle of the sessions as well, but in the end, the main Q&A will be handled, where you can ask questions not only to us, to our team member, like 4 of us. We will be answering and speaking about our experience, what we see, helping sellers and brands on Amazon. And maybe first thing first, shortly about us. INNELS, we are a full-service Amazon marketing agency. With Andrei, we created this agency and working full-time for the last 7 years. We are a growing team. This year, 16 people. I think we had approximately 5-6 new hires this year. We managed more than 100 brands probably for the last 7 years. We did some many successful showcases that we can also speak about today. What I want to mention that we work with different European brands, with different US brands, helping them to sell on Amazon globally. It's not only Europe, it's US, it's Australia, Japan, Singapore, where Amazon has FBA warehouses. And we also offer additional services, TikTok, Walmart, Bol.com, other marketplaces, which I will speak about shortly today as well. So we will launch, first of all, we will launch the poll here where you can vote. And this poll question will be, what is the biggest pain you want to finally fix next year selling on Amazon? And there are 4 different answers: profitability, market expansion, too many tools, too much to handle, or the last one added by our marketing managers as well, that our current agency sucks. Sometimes it can happen as well. But we want to say that, yeah, please vote because otherwise, if you vote, we know what to speak about and where to address our presentation today even more. So, but yeah, would like to maybe shortly start with just asking you, Andrei, and maybe let's brainstorm and let's tell audience about how do you see maybe first this year, 2025, what did you see maybe the biggest challenges, or what are your thoughts about this year, if you can summarize it today?
Yeah, sure. First thing first, hi everyone. I really hope that you'll find this webinar helpful, because we really try to actually make it practical in the way what actually we see works for the brands and for you as a even private label seller. So I think this year, the main is that all the noise around AI and the new automations and tools. So we have so many tools where people try to say, okay, this is gonna make a huge change in your Amazon results, but in the reality, basics still matter. I see that it's getting more and more challenging to actually just do the basic SEO optimization, launch advertising without actually having a marketing strategy for your products. And we also see that more people do mobile shopping, more people spend actually less time on deciding whether they want to buy a product or not, and content is starting to be a key here. So we see that most of the people, they just look into images, video, and then they make a decision. They don't even go into descriptions sometimes, bullet points. Even Amazon itself actually started to testing removing the bullet points from the listing. And of course, in terms of being flexible and agile with stock, we saw some tariffs uncertainty and etc. And I believe that those brands who are able to stock products in different countries sometimes actually have more opportunities to actually succeed. But I think the first thing to focus on is actually looking at your business from the marketing perspective. Not just SEO, not just content, not just video, but actually have a full package. And that's, I think, what we're going to cover today. Where do you start? Where do you finish to ensure that you have a complete offer to buyers that actually might convert next year?
You know, I also like what we speak about this year, and what we notice is that there are less private label sellers, because if you remember, like from the year 2015 to 2022, there was a boom, a lot of YouTube gurus speaking about how to sell on Amazon, buy from China, sell just like one product on Amazon, US, use FBA, almost like a similar to drop shipping, easy way of growing your business.
Even on Google, I think that the searches for FBA dropshipping was like booming, I think till 2022.
Yeah.
And then everything just started going down.
Yeah. And we speak about this every year, but especially this year we saw that if you enter Amazon, you need to enter with a brand. You need to enter with a few different products. Of course, there might be just one which is a cash cow and brings most of the sales, but you need to enter with a brand and think about about your brand outside of Amazon is a must right now. So it's not just selling on Amazon. Of course, there is sometimes a product market fit where you can just find a very high demand, not many competitors, enter with one private label product and just be successful. But in the end, after a couple of months, you will have another competitors or like similar FBA experts who will be researching and saying, hey, this product sells well, let me copy it, do little adjustments. And a lot of Chinese sellers are very smart at it. And
everyone is online now. It's getting too competitive. So you really have to stand out, not just with the product, but actually how do you market it? Who is behind the product? What is the strategy? And do you actually want to make money long term, or try to actually get some short term results, which actually getting more challenging? I think that's what we also talk with clients, that again, Amazon and in general now e-com is not that you start selling and then you see instant results in 2-3 months. So in most of the cases, it takes more time. Of course, you can be lucky with some external traffic like TikTok shop, for instance, which we're also going to cover today, but still, you have to have a long-term strategy and you have to know all those details, also understanding how Amazon language system changes in the way how they make listings look on Amazon, the way how they actually SEO now works with A10 algorithm. So again, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe just a last few notes on this. I know that it's very important to increase your organic rank. What of course we see one of the most important metrics, how you increase your organic rank for the specific relevant keywords in order to get this snowball effect, more and more organic sales to your brand. But at the same time, if you don't work at the same time on your brand presence, on your brand awareness, you will simply lose it after time. You can switch off the campaigns, and then if you have a brand presence, the sales will be still there. The organic rank will probably drop, but the brand awareness, repeating customers, it's a big focus. And we speak about this mostly every year, that Amazon is shifting towards brand-oriented platform. But today, I think it's even a bigger part of the discussion. And I'm glad that we are launching this webinar and speaking about big shifts, big tools, and interesting tools that Amazon introduced this year. So yeah, one more time, please feel free to share this webinar, like, comment your questions. We will take it in a Q&A session, and also in a poll. Please reply so we can address it. But yeah, we have, as I mentioned, we have 2 presentations today. First, I mean, like from me, Andrei, then 2 more from Nick's, Yulia, and I will probably switch and start with mine, and it will appear here on the screen. So what I will speak and what I will focus on is just a generic like vision for Amazon, not going in a technical usage of these tools that I will mention, because other smart people from my team, Nick, Andrejs, Yulia, will speak about this today. And I will say one sentence that you can see here, that Amazon is switching from search to predictive performance. What does it mean? So if before Amazon was mostly a search ads platform, so most of the ads were happening through Amazon pay-per-click, PPC. For those who don't know, it's very similar to Google Ads, where you bid for the keywords, you're driving your results, your product or your link in Google to the top. And it's switching from this pay-per-click method to more, I would say, audience-based advertising. So it's similar, I would say, it's switching from being similar to Google Ads to Meta Ads, where a lot of interesting things come in place. Now you can actually create a full marketing funnel meaning that you can make sure that customers, like shoppers, they receive different videos through the journey. You can retarget them. You can make sure that you retarget those who watched one video, and you can make sure that they're looking at different videos through the journey before purchase, and then in the end of the funnel they buy your product. And it's quite exciting with the Amazon Marketing Cloud launch, AMC. And we're going to speak about this as well. DSP was available for a long time, but only for selected big agencies where really heavy budgets needed to be invested for each seller. Right now, it's sponsored display already for a couple of years, which we utilize, and I believe that it's a must to try and see how retargeting works for your company. Also, I want to say that search sessions are declining at industry events, while upper funnel strategies gain focus. So upper funnel strategies like rank, category capture can be easily done with DSP, AMC. Definitely it's a must to take a look at these tools, and it's very, very important right now to measure your brand lift. So your brand awareness, repeating orders, like how many people are repeating to your brand and buying again, how many are loyal to the brand, how other brands are doing. And there are many interesting tools right now that we will speak about and show how they look from inside. And it's definitely completely different scene and advertising strategies that Amazon is bringing. It became more difficult right now to advertise because of this, but it's a great advantage because you can make much more interesting things. You have much more opportunities for the brands that you can utilize and again grow your brand, not just sell product here right now. Think about the long-term strategy. And here how it works is just that Amazon Cloud includes AMC, DSP, and brand stores. Why brand stores? Because in general, I would say it's just the collection of the data about each brand that Amazon has. And then I want to say about different features, already showing it right now here. Maybe the video can also be launched. Let's see. I just want to say that you already know how, probably if you're selling on Amazon, you already know about the brand campaigns, about the video campaigns. Right now, there is an 8-second full screen video that grab attention and can be expanded on your laptop or on your phone. And these videos are really catching attention. And also something similar now is implemented into the brand stores. I want to say that Amazon is doing quite a lot in terms of different features for how to implement videos inside the platform, and also make brand store as a full, also like kind of like a social media experience. But they had a lot of tests that they did already and they failed. For example, Amazon Posts or also Amazon Live, but I wouldn't say it's a fail. They're developing it still right now. But Amazon Post, we saw that before you could post on your brand store similar to Instagram feed, different posts to drive engagement, but it didn't work out. They closed this feature. Then another one, what I want to mention here, and just a second, because maybe, yeah, it's two different screenshots that you can see. Before on Amazon, you search only through keywords, and you come to Amazon, you say, or you think, I want to buy a specific, let's say, hair dye, and you write, I want a hair dye for the straight hair, and something like this. You have a clear intention on what you want to buy. Right now, it's also changing. It's a little bit different. There is Amazon AI Rufus, where you can chat with Rufus with AI assistant, and they can help you to suggest different products. So it's also quite interesting, and they learn about the customer experience, and they have quite intense data on what to suggest based on what they suggest products for the shoppers. And on the right, you can see it's interactive quiz style model leading to product recommendations. So you fill in different quizzes and you have product recommendation. On the right, it's Amazon Live that I just mentioned. Right now, they also try to test different things where different influencers can have similar to questionnaires where they ask in a real time, for example, what is your hair type? And then all the viewers are answering in a live event, and then they recommend specifically this cream, let's say. So, and another one is AI, and very interesting and exciting tool is Amazon Creative Studio, and it's only launched to the to all the sellers. Very few sellers get benefits right now to use Amazon Creative Studio, but it's a game changer. It really allows to create your visuals and to not spend on photo shoots, on graphic design, on videos. You can just simply upload your products, and in the end of this this webinar, Yulia Miliutina will show exactly how it looks, and it's really exciting. So it is going to be last presentation. You can definitely stay and see how it looks from inside, but definitely with simple images you can drive 1,000 of content to different purposes. Images for ads, for listings, videos, especially videos as we speak, for about the full marketing funnels, where videos are very important. And I want to say here that prompts matter. So one of the key things here would be is to learn how to prompt and how to speak with AI, and it's quite interesting as well. The next one I want to say is creator connections. Amazon is basically competing with the TikTok Shop. It's a big part of our service as well right now. TikTok Shop really can drive demand. If there's no demand for the product on Amazon, don't sell there without another platform which can generate demand. And influencers also is a good tool for this. Through TikTok Shop, through using TikTok, you can reach out to influencers. You can get a lot of interesting people advertising your product. Now Amazon is offering the same. They have a tool where you can submit your campaigns through creator connections, and it means that in the creator connections, you can have a kind of job offer for influencers to apply and to advertise your products, and you can say how much you want to pay them, or just like through affiliate link, they also get some benefits. And another one I just want to say in the end, that agentic search and chat-based shopping are merging. Recently, there was a very interesting news that ChatGPT in the US launched their own kind of like a way of purchasing. So you can purchase product inside ChatGPT, and it's integrated with the Shopify. So people don't want to leave one platform. If they chat in ChatGPT and they have a product that it's recommended, they can buy there straight away. Amazon want to do it the same. So agentic search is very important. Rufus AI will keep developing. Everyone is fighting for the best AI opportunities to provide for both sellers and shoppers. And yeah, and I think I would say that this was the last one. I'm definitely happy to jump and maybe have other things here with the Q&A. We have the next speaker, as you can see in the right corner, Andrejs, and going a little bit more into details.
Yeah. But first thing, I think it's important to mention about this creator connection. So the cool thing about it is Amazon tried to make it easy to use for the ones who are selling already on Amazon, understand. So you can actually see the budgets, ACOS, revenue. So it's easy to understand how the campaigns are performing if you were never doing it externally outside of Amazon. And even though it's still only available in the US, actually not for all sellers, but we see that they're making it available for more and more brands. And I think that the UK should be the next one, as they kind of always do, the UK, US, then Europe.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of very important point Mark raised. And I think that what I want to bring as the most important thing for you to understand is that it's no longer about just, again, stuffing with keywords, treating your Amazon business as a private label. It's a proper business where you actually have to start with identifying who is your customer, what does the market look like, how do you see the strategy long term, and how do you actually outcompete others? As we see now more and more sellers joining, plus what Mark talked about and what we can see now is that if you go on Amazon and you just enter the search page there, you will see that 60% of all those modules are sponsored products. So brands, sellers are actually paying to get an exposure there. So you have to be smart also with your advertising. But what happened before? I remember in 2019 when we started, again, everything was not that easy anymore because like in 2015, you just put the keywords, you run ads. It was super cheap to run advertising. You just use tools like Helium, Jungle Scout, collect keywords.
We always told that every customer that Google was much more expensive and told everyone to advertise just solely on Amazon. It was golden times.
Yeah, but now it's changing. And to be honest, the great thing about all these changes is that we always have, again, some benefits, some of the downsides, but the main benefit is what everyone was complaining about before, that Amazon does not give you a lot of data about your customer and about the market. Well, now it's completely different. So basically, at this moment of time, you are able to see all the information about your customer, about the market, and there are a lot of tools for that.
You're sharing the screen, right?
Yes. So actually, you can see that the first tool I want to talk about is Product Opportunity Explorer. So if you are actively selling on Amazon, you probably are familiar with brand analytics, where you can get a lot of insights about your customers, how they shop, make decisions, but not all the sellers are familiar with Product Opportunity Explorer tool, which is actually developing each month. And what kind of information it gives you? You can research on all the different categories that are popular on Amazon, and you can also get a lot of insights about your own product. So this is your go-to tool if you want to get data directly from Amazon. As of course, we're still using some external tools like Helium, Jungle Scout, Zone Guru to get information about the search volumes, but Amazon is actually trying to take more and more of those people to search on their platform, and you get a lot of direct information, so you can be 100% sure this is accurate. And now you can go there, and on this example, for instance, we are researching protein bars, and we can see all the different search terms associated with this niche, so what people are looking the most at, and you'll be able to see all of the search volume, sales, price details, trends, and you are on the yearly basis for the past 3 months, past months. So here, a lot of insights that you can research, and you can see also all the bestsellers, who is actually getting most of the clicks, most of the conversions, and this type of information. Another one that is also available within this Product Opportunity Explorer is that you are able to compare different metrics. For instance, if I'm launching a new product, I want to understand how stable is the market, meaning that maybe during the peak seasons, there are some more products entering the market for a limited amount of time just to get conversions. And this might actually affect my strategy for Amazon a lot. So here you can put different metrics. For instance, on this slide, you see the product count and search conversion rate. So I can see across the last year how many offers are in total in this category on the market and how does it actually affect the search conversion rate. So they also have competition overview, differentiation potential. So within this niche trend tool, you're able to put a lot of metrics to get this information about your product. We actually used it a lot recently to identify the seasonality for the products and to see how do we approach our advertising budget during those times, because you need to know where do you actually adjust some strategies for your bids, for the targets that you're running. So quite a very handy tool for you when it comes to analytics on Amazon. Even more, we get the full overview about the markets on how many products are there. What is the actually top 5 product click share? Why is it important? For instance, protein bars, we see here that top 5 products are getting 20% of the clicks from this whole niche. This means that actually some new sellers and other ones might get a chance to win customers. If we would see the situation where, let's say, top 5 products are getting 80 or 90% of the clicks, it means that there might be a huge dominance by those limited amount of sellers, and also they might have some kind of monopoly. So this is important information for you to play around with and see, do you want to actually launch on this category or not. Here also you will see brand counts. So not only sellers, you will see on the brand level how many brands are on this category, and of course, how many of those brands are actually running advertising. So all of this information that we were not having before is now available. And if you want to make an ICP profile of your customer, if you want to understand the market you're selling in, it's not just enough to use external tools. You really have to understand this data. And to be honest, we see it so much recently for the past 2 years that people talk a lot about content, which is super important, but they talk about how good does the content look like or how good does the strategy look like. But you really want to make decisions based on data. And unfortunately anymore, you cannot avoid the basics of marketing. You have to dig into this numbers. You have to see what's happening and how you can bring value to this niche. Another interesting, actually, I would say, not life hack, but thing that you can see what is actually developing on Amazon. If you go on the search page and you search for the product, here it's actually Minvax teak oil. Amazon itself showing you as a buyer, how many units approximately were purchased for the past 30 days. So here we can see it's more than 500 units bought in the past months. What you can do next, you can actually go to Product Opportunity Explorer tool and find this product, and you will see the click count for the past 30 days. So this information as well is available, and that's how we can put those numbers together and see the average conversion rate also for this product, and to benchmark it to your product or the niches that you are interested in looking at. Reviews. Another thing that actually has been happening recently, Amazon limits APIs for reviews. So some of the tools like Helium, they're no longer having tools that allow you to extract some of the reviews and get data. We will see how it develops, because there are a lot of changes in that. But if you're struggling with data about the market or some products, you are still able to go to Product Opportunity Explorer tool and see the positive topics, negative ones, to see what people complain mostly about and what they don't like in the product. How you use this information, that's important for you to first work on the product itself, the offer, plus you have information what you can talk about or mention on your product images, because you want to ensure that if we don't want to hear some negative feedback on the product, maybe we should go more into details about the size of the product, how it feels when customers receive it, so we match their expectation when they receive the product. It's important to be proactive in this. And then when we already sell on Amazon, of course, Mark talked a lot about the audiences, and here we know that Amazon already gives you a lot of brand analytics information about your customers, who actually is repeat customer, some of the new groups that you might run some additional ads. So all the in-depth information about your shoppers is in there, as well as product repeat buyers. For instance, if you're selling the product which is repeatable buyer is interesting for, so it could be cosmetics or something on a subscription, it's important that you also track this. What is the percentage of my total sales that are going back to repeat buyers? And if this number is decreasing or increasing, you can make a lot of interesting assumptions why it's happening, maybe something about the product or some shifts in the market. And we always, again, really depends on the category, but with most of the brands, we try to be on the level of 10, 15, 12% of the repeat buyers, where we see that they might come back and buy it again maybe in 1 or 2 months. And demographics. For now, only available in the US, but you can even get some idea about their income, about their age, their gender, the situation with their education. Of course, not all of this information will be 100% sure, and the reason is because most of the families have one Amazon account in the US, so it might be one person who is making purchases, but it might be intended for another one to use. But still, this is a very interesting profile information when you are building the content, for instance. You want to be sure that you are showing the right audience in your images to connect this emotional connection. If you're selling the professional tool, you probably want to have someone who actually looks professional, like a man maybe in the 40s, selling I don't know, it could be some, for instance, we have been working with teak oils, right? Mostly men buy it, and the average age would be 40 plus. So we want to show this kind of demographic in our content to make more emotional connection, to not just show somewhere younger, which might be not that relevant for the buyer. And of course, when you build the profile, when you start selling, when you actually get information and data from advertising, you also have search query performance reports, where here you can see the whole funnel of how your buyers actually go and find your products and where they drop off. So we see that here, for instance, for a specific keyword, amount of impressions that we're getting, then clicks, sales, add to cart. So all of their steps is actually being important that you check, because there might be, if you get a lot of impressions but no clicks, something's off with your offer. But if you see that you actually get a lot of impressions, you get a lot of clicks but no sales, so it's dropping significantly, maybe something off with your images or information about the product. So you can analyze each step of your buyer's journey and see where do you need to put more effort into. So that's about, I would say, data. You have a lot of that now available on Amazon. But now I also want to talk about 2022 versus 2026. I mentioned at the beginning that it's no longer about just stuffing your listing with keywords. So a lot of things changed. Amazon algorithm is becoming more smarter. So you want to treat your Amazon listing as a real customer. If someone would enter your store and would ask questions about a product, you would probably not try to mention a certain word thousands of times. You would try to make a copy and information that would actually answer all of their questions and make this product solve their problems. That's what you do. So you're not only trying to put keywords for Amazon, but you also do the explanation to buyer. So that's your opportunity to do marketing here. And we still, of course, mention some keywords, but we don't need to do it repeated times. So if you mention like a protein bar once, Amazon will understand the product. If it's relevant for customers, if you're running ads, you will get ranking on that. And example here, previously you could say something like wireless Bluetooth earbuds, Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth earphones for running. So try to actually rank for all those keywords, but now Amazon already understands what you're selling, and they will see based on advertising and where customers come from to buy it. So now you can be more natural, wireless Bluetooth earbuds, and you can actually make it sound more for actually interesting that here there is a mistake, but now you can just say that it's wireless Bluetooth earbuds made for runners, let's say updated technologies. You don't need to put just keywords. Try to explain the selling points of that. Another thing is Amazon Science. This is a website that actually shares a lot of updates about Amazon language system, how they actually treat their algorithm. And they published a lot of articles that now they're also able to read images, not all the keywords, not all the information, but they can recognize your product in images. They can also use NLP models to understand product type, and they can use this for classification and improved matching. That's also another reason why I don't want to just stuff your listing with keywords. So you want to work on your images. This will complement your listing that you built before. And another actually paper shows that Amazon uses multimodal models to actually not only understand the product, but also determine if a product belongs in a right category. Sometimes we saw issues, technical ones, where you put a product in one category and it's not being put in that, but instead you see it somewhere in another category, even though you didn't make this change yourself. So those type of things in your listing might be happening because of this algorithm within Amazon. So you really want to double check those things, how you initially put it on the system and how later as well it's being treated. To summarize, what does it mean? Now you are not just staffing your product with keywords or trying to make it for the robot for Amazon. You make the listing in your product for a customer. AI understands now some intents, not just the keywords. Also, you don't need to care that much about some synonyms or spellings. Amazon recognizes different variations. So we see it all the time, and there is no problem with this at all. Long-tail keywords matter more because long-tail keywords' intention is to actually be more descriptive of the product and who is actually this made for. So you want to put it more. Again, we're focused on marketing. We're focusing on being specific, on solving specific issues. Click-through conversion rate boost ranking. So we see that Yulia will talk about it, but a lot of interesting and exciting things are happening here. Images are becoming more and more important. A lot of people are not reading descriptions, as I mentioned. So they make decisions based on your content. So you really want to put a focus on that. And before even running your Amazon kind of business strategy and trying to bring it on the market, I also suggest to think about this from the strategic point of view. Let's say, not only how do we run discounts, but if you're, let's say, selling cosmetics and all the variations you have is like 100 milliliters, 250, 500, could be any other product. Instead of maybe running some discounts in the beginning when you just bring it on the market and try to get more exposure to your brand, you can introduce a new variation. It can be a test sample that you're not going to earn money from, but that might be a very good strategy for you to get a customer easier because it's a cheaper product, simpler decision to try it. And then if they like it, you introduce it to other variations of yours or introduce more bundles. So please treat your Amazon business as you would treat your website, where you would try to see how can we get people interested in my product. Not only with content we talked about, technical aspects, but also offer itself as, again, more competition and sometimes being not that profitable or even lose money on test samples, taste ASINs might be a good solution for you in the long run. So just important points I wanted to raise today.
Thanks, Andrei. Quite interesting topic, and we are waiting here for Nix to join as the next speaker. We will probably keep the Q&A till the end, for the end, but also like maybe after Nix here, since he will be still like 20 minutes presentation, 10-minute Q&A. While he's joining, I want to again remind that we have a poll. I see that 11 people voted, and then we are waiting for your questions and as well if you have any, and happy to answer. So yeah, I see from.
I think important to say that we have been. So Nick's is the main person when it comes to managing our clients' accounts, and Nick's experience is not only about Amazon, but actually seeing everything on the brand level. So I think Nick can also cover a lot of exciting things of the mistakes some brands are making when it comes to Amazon.
Nix, we are disappearing from the camera. We are giving space for 20 minutes to you. I know you also have some slides, and looking forward to Q&A after.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna share my screen, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And now it's changing, I see here. Yes.
All right, well, good. So hey guys, I'm Nick. I'm Key Account Manager at INNELS. So today we're going to speak about some real problems, real data, and real solutions. So hopefully this information will help you through year 2026. So let's crack on. So yeah, let's start with common pain points across multiple brands we manage. So let's start with account health and compliance issues. So it's actually super important if you're like current seller or a new seller intending to sell, especially baby products or supplements. It's really important that you think about certifications and documents upfront, because Amazon might ask you for this. And what I have seen and noticed with other brands we worked with is that documents are not in place. So what happens is that Amazon will deactivate your listing, and while you work on the documents, you'll lose a lot of sales. And also, a big note is that not always Amazon accepts your documents with the first try. So it means you will need to adjust the documents. So I highly suggest that you work on this upfront, before you sell, or even if you're an active seller currently now, but Amazon haven't asked you for those documents, it's just a matter of the time if you sell baby products or supplements, because they're gonna ask. So I really suggest that you work on this upfront. And the other thing, of course, is restricted products. For example, super hard category to sell in is anything sexual or, for example, libido products, because Amazon is not actually allowing you to advertise those products. So again, you need to think how you will sell, right? Because you won't get PPC sales. You need to, think about how organically you will drive traffic to your listings, or think about external traffic. And then if you continue about health and compliance issues, forbidden product claims. So that's also a big one. So if you put like some forbidden texts into your listings, it's maybe not that big issue. Amazon will ask you to change it. But if you put those texts in your videos or in your visuals, then it gets a problem, right? You need to redo your content. So again, you need to know those terms and claims you can use and can't use. So if you want a full list, just comment forbidden and we're going to send it over to you. The next big problem we see with many brands actually is that they treat tacos and ACOS the same way. And what's even worse is that they treat each product equally in terms of ad spend, which is not correct, right? Because each product, of course, if it's not like a variation, different colors, but if it's completely different product, you most likely will have different price point and different margins. So it's really important to understand your target ACOS and break even ACOS. So for example, here, if I zoom in at this brand, so this is 1 month difference. You see how much profit changed when we found out and calculated our break-even ACOS and our target ACOS. So here's the formula for you guys. And here's an example. So for example, if I want 20% profit margin, my target ACOS in this scenario is 25%, which is super crucial for you to understand before you do advertising, because in reality, Amazon will take 45, 55% of your revenue as a fees. So it's quite a big number. So you need to be really cautious about your margins, about your ACOS and TACOS goals. And then if I move further, about third big pain point for multiple brands, especially selling in Europe, it's VAT. Because how it works in short is that you need to be VAT registered in each country you sell on. But there's one thing you can do. For example, you can register only in one market, like Germany, and then do cross-fulfillment to other countries. But then again, you need to check your numbers because your cross-fulfillment fee will be way higher than the local fee in Germany. So all of those things you need to take into account when you choose to enter a new market, because it's quite complex, especially in Europe. And also avoid stockouts as much as possible in year 26, because when you get out of stock, you will lose your ranking positions. And the second thing is, which is actually quite new, Amazon will put a fee on you because you're out of stock. So Amazon cares so much about the customers that they don't want you to go out of stock. And if you do, you pay fees. So it's really important to take into account all of those things I mentioned here, because those are the most common pain points across multiple brands we manage. All right, and if I move further and we speak more about strategic challenges, the number one is lack of data-driven decision-making. So most of the brands, before we take over, they don't know the numbers. You know, they basically roll into the blind. They just care about revenue. But where we come in as an agency, we have our own custom analytics dashboards. So we track all of the metrics: revenues, click-through rates, conversion rates, and of course profitability, not only on account level but also per SKU. So it's really important to understand, you know, where your money goes, and also you need to check all of those fees, because not always Amazon charges you correctly, which I'm gonna speak more about on the next slides. Then the next big thing is content and brand protection. So from day one, if you want to sell on Amazon, make sure you have a trademark, because without the trademark, you won't have full advantages of Amazon advertising, like sponsored brands. You won't be able to use this brand analytics, so it's super crucial. And the other thing actually is you can fight with unauthorized sellers if they jump on your listing and sell your product. If you have a trademark, you can fight them off. If not, then you will need to live with them. So that's super crucial. And then, of course, content, which my colleague Yulia will speak about a bit later. Listing optimization is super crucial. You're leaving money on the table if you're not optimizing your content and digging deep into main purchase drivers, you know, why customers are actually buying other products similar to yours. And then, yeah, if I speak about content and continue, it's resource allocation. So what we noticed before we worked with multiple brands, that they want to invest only in advertising, but not into content, which is completely wrong. In our point of view, content is king. You know, you need to create best possible content, so you convert, and only then you spend money on advertising. And here I have one example for you guys. We updated content over here, and you can see how much our conversion rate spiked. When the market went down, we spiked. That's because, you know, we analyzed the market in depth, main purchase drivers, why customers buy other products, you know, what they hate about other products. So this is so crucial. And then this information we display on our main image, secondary images, A+, and also brand store. And if we compare like winners, you know, versus losers, so basically brands that thrive, they have proactive systems, you know, they prevent problems before they arise. They monitor accounts daily with multiple alerts, you know, price alerts, hijacker alerts, you know, when image changes, like everything, you know, because you need to act fast on Amazon. It's such a dynamic place. If you, for example, if your listing will be deactivated for 2 days, maybe 1 week, and you won't notice that, you will lose a lot of sales and your competition will benefit. So it's super crucial. That's why we at INNELS, we have created SOPs for every possible scenario. And we make data-driven decisions, you know. And sometimes when owner comes to us as an agency, the owners can, you know, focus creating better products, more products, but we take care of the sales. You know, we are marketers. We know how to market the products, how to sell the products, because we have all the systems in place. We have the experience. So that's really crucial to have everything in place. And that's basically how we can separate, you know, brands that struggle and brands that thrive. I'm not saying that you maybe as a small brand need to hire agencies straight away or some, you know, virtual assistants. No, but you need to have systems in place, you know, and once you grow or you want to grow faster, agencies or virtual assistants can come into place and help you grow way faster and analyze all the data points, which are super crucial to succeed on Amazon. So here now, I have created 3 real problems we solved this month with our clients. So I'm sharing this with you so you can avoid those problems, maybe learn from some mistakes and avoid them in the future. So case number one. So we were generating quite good sales, but then we checked at, because we have our own dashboards and we are tracking all the metrics, we noticed that Amazon actually is charging more for fulfillment and shipping than they should. So 30% of fees went to this section, which is super weird. What we did, we downloaded all the reports, we analyzed, each fee Amazon charged us, and we noticed that they are actually charging us more. The weight in the system was not correct. So probably Amazon weighted the product and it was just some kind of error. And it cost us a lot of money, right? Our margins were so thin. But what we did based on this data, based on our findings, we appealed, we created a case, and then we got our money back. And here, for example, you can see that this month so far, our fulfillment and shipping fees are correct. So that's really important. You can't set it and forget it. You need to constantly be checking everything on Amazon, because also Amazon can make some mistakes. And by the way, seller support is not the greatest. So you need to have those templates in place so you can act fast and get those things resolved as soon as possible. The next thing, I spoke about brand registry earlier. So it's super crucial that you have it in place, because here we are selling this product to variations and our buy box ratio is 60 and 40%. We are brand owners, imagine only sellers, but someone overnight jumps on our listing and we lose 20K in 1 week. So it's crazy, right? But thanks to brand registry, we appealed. We did some test buys because usually Amazon asks you to buy those products and showcase to Amazon that it's actually your product. They're selling under your brand name, but they don't have authority to do so, right? So we, of course, resolved this case. It took us some 3 weeks, but sometimes if you don't have brand registry, it can take a year, because when you get your brand registry approved, it will take, a lot of time. But in this case, it took us only 3 weeks. And if we check case number 3, so we spoke also earlier about restricted products and terms. So libido is one of those search terms. So you can see here we have sponsor product campaign, keyword targeting is that match, but we are not generating any impressions. But what we did instead, we created multiple campaigns using sponsored brands, in this case, video campaigns, and those campaigns gained us impressions and sales. So basically the pattern here is that most problems might be invisible until you know where to look. So, that's why brands sometimes hire agencies, not for execution, but for the expertise to see what's wrong before it becomes a crisis. So in this case, it was super crucial that we are getting impressions on the most relevant keyword. Otherwise, it will be super hard to sell the product, right? And now we can dig a bit deeper into PPC strategy for year 2026. So if we speak about winners, so in our point of view, winners are those brands who do wide targeting, have strong creative, disciplined bid logic, and use search query performance weekly. So those are some of the topics Mark and Andrei already discussed, how Amazon is becoming smarter and smarter every day. We have such great tools inside Amazon now. And also Amazon is making customer journey way easier. That's why I'm mentioning wide targeting here, because algorithm is getting so smart, and Amazon's main goal actually is to convert. They want you to convert. They want to show products to the customers, which they will buy most likely, right? They don't want to show products which are, not meant for them. But brands who will lose, they will do maybe exact match only type campaigns, poor images, random product targets, no retargeting, and no attention to search query performance. But if you want to be a winner, you need to pay strong attention to those topics I mentioned and also going to cover in the next slides. So here, simple thing we did with one brand. So this is product targeting campaign. You can see our return on ad spend was 2, but after we did our strategy, it jumped to 3.5. You can see we spent twice less, but generated almost the same amount of sales. So basically what we did, of course, content creation is one thing, but we set category product targeting filters, meaning we targeted higher price products, lower rating products, weaker offers, not so unique product, maybe missing some listing images. And then we also group those product targets by intent. in return, we get much better results, lower CPC, and our conversions go up. And so here also we can see if you look at visuals. So we did, I would say, small tweaks, right? But at the end of the day, they were huge in terms of metrics. Our click-through rate jumped, our conversion spiked. So it's really important to do those tests. And at INNELS, we do it constantly. We split test small things. We might maybe change, places for those words. We might maybe, adjust the angle of the bottle. And even if 0.1% will give you more sales, in 1 year, in terms of revenue, it will be quite huge. So it's really important to split test. I would say it never stops. The next case study here is, here we are looking at funnels. So this is from search query performance. We can see so September, our purchase rate, brand rate was 7.8%. But after we improved our main image, so we played with angle, we played with price a bit, so you can see a small discount here, and with title, we can see how our brand share spiked. So basically, our purchase rate improved by 4 times. And always, I keep mentioning that you don't need to chase always the big search terms. The key actually is to get those high relevant long tail keywords, and a lot of them, and to improve those metrics, because search query performance is such a gold. It's giving us all the data we need, and then we need then we can see where's the missing link, and then we can work on content or price or title. So yeah, basically, if we speak about new strategy for advertising, as I said, it's wide targeting as a main scale engine, because algorithm is getting smarter and smarter. Of course, you still use negatives. If you, for example, sell boxing mouth guard, you will set negative for the mouth guard for teeth grinding, right? Because it's super unrelevant term. So you still use negatives, but you do wide targeting, because Amazon algorithm, as I said, it's getting smarter and smarter. Then creative quality is way more important than bid strategy at the beginning. To categorize your product targets, it's also super crucial. We see such a low CPCs and great ACOS here that, yeah, it's a goal for us currently. And of course, we can't forget about sponsored brand video campaigns and sponsored display campaigns. And then search query performance will guide you through every major decision. And more to speak in the next slides about this. And if you look at our campaign architecture, so we have 4 pillars here. We have wide targeting engines. So basically, it's all discovery campaigns with negatives. Then what we like to do, we group our search terms by customer intent for keywords. And also we do the same for product targets. It can be, of course, by price, by reviews, by rating, but also by intent. So that's huge, working for us really great. The second pillar is ranking campaigns. We have, of course, still single keyword campaigns, emphasis most likely on top of search. Then third pillar is video and sponsored display campaigns. So sponsored brand video campaigns working really great. Also here, we group those keywords by intent. And then, for each intent, we have adjusted video, and that works really great for us. So take your time, analyze reviews, analyze main purchase drivers, and then create those, then group those videos by intent and just target most relevant keywords for your product. And then, of course, fourth pillar is remarketing and defensive campaigns. If you have, if you don't sell supplements or products which can be used over and over again, of course, most likely you won't use purchases, but you're gonna do user marketing. Then, of course, branded protection. If you see, you're getting some branded searches, you need to make sure that you always appear on those. Otherwise, competitors will steal sales from you. So if I briefly speak about product targets, as I said, I'm going to repeat myself, but I can't stress how crucial it is. So you need to sort your competitors by rating, price, and by intent. For example, I sell hub cleaner, and I see that some listings, some competitors, they put emphasis on induction hub and some on gas hub. So what I do, I create 2 separate groups where I target specifically induction cleaners, and gas cleaners. And if my product is doing both, then I can see which group is working better. And sometimes I see, maybe in this case, gas hub is not working well enough. And then I notice that on our listing, we are actually not mentioning that our product is also for gas hub cleaner, right? So you get an idea. So based on those groupings, you can then adjust your listings and improve conversions. So super crucial. And yeah, also can't stress how important is this, and my colleague Yulia will speak more about this, but creative is your PPC lever. Fix your creatives and only then waste money on advertising. Why I say waste? Because if your content is not optimized, you won't succeed. So work on creative and only then spend money on advertising. You'll see huge difference in click-through rates and conversion rates. And now, yeah, let's speak about search query performance. So I would say it's a superpower. So it's such a great tool. And I will cover three main scenarios here. So this one is a traffic problem. So for example, here, what we can see for impressions, that we are actually not generating so much impression share for this super relative keyword term, right? But when people see us, they buy us. Half of sales are ours. So it's huge, right? And then we are thinking, why shouldn't we increase our impression share? Of course, you won't be able to get 100%. It's impossible. But to improve till 20, 25, or maybe even 30%, it's possible, you know. And if you get like extra 4 or 5 sales, it won't hurt, right? And if you have multiple keywords like those, you will generate much, much bigger revenue in 12 months, for example. So yeah, and this is how you can notice and analyze, you know, where's the problem. And for example, in this case, we increased bids, and for this specific keyword, we created, you know, more campaigns related to this keyword. So yeah, that's scenario number one. Then we have scenario number two, where when it's a click-through rate problem. So here we can see clicks, brand share, less than 1%. So what we did, we improved our main image, so different angle. We improved our title, so mentioning the main keyword at front, and then we lowered price a bit. And what happened? So our brand share improved by 3 times. Again, it's not a huge keyword maybe, but if you have multiple keywords like those, you will see a difference in 1 year. You can increase sales by 100%. And then the third scenario is conversion problem. So here we can see our brand share for clicks is almost 20%, quite great, right? But purchases only 10%. So it's quite a difference. So it means something is not working. Our listing is not convincing enough. So what we did, we improved our listing images. We improved our A+ content. And then you can see we also generated more clicks because of the main image, title, but we converted 3 times better because of our listing images and A+ content. So please check your search query performance analysis once a week. You'll get so much data out of it, and then you can act accordingly. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nix. One question following your presentation. It's about the external traffic. How maybe you see it's great to approach the external traffic in 2026 when new sellers coming in and you see there are definitely not enough search volume and not enough demand from Amazon. Which platforms you recommend and maybe which methodology would you use?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So what we do, actually, we utilize TikTok a lot, and it works the best because, you know, videos can go viral. It's not guaranteed. You still need to test like on Amazon. You need to have multiple angles, multiple hooks, multiple creatives, but that's working quite good for us. And we use Amazon attribution links to track everything. And then the best part also is if you bring external traffic to Amazon, Amazon gonna favor you and will give 10% discount on referral fee, which is quite nice.
Yeah, TikTok is quite big. It's quite exciting to see different stores we are launching, and TikTok is also expanding not only US and Europe, it's Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, other Asian markets, and it's a great combination that we do quite often at the moment. And nice showcases from our clients. Nix, I see that you, for example, showed, you saw NGL. You saw the 2 different pictures and A/B tests. This is with the content with the main image. This is what we do quite often, and even on a subscription package right now, we don't just do design once. We have with many clients subscriptions where we are testing new images each month, and also Yulia will speak about this. But maybe let's jump back, and since while Nix, you are here, if you have questions regarding PPC, feel free to ask in the comment section. But Andrei, maybe you have some comments as well.
Yeah, actually, Nix, I think that you mentioned all the important things regarding from the strategy to actually knowing the content, etc. But still, what we see that a lot of sellers and brands are struggling with profitability, and Amazon is charging more and more in fees. So we have to be really smart with how do we treat Amazon. That's why you also mentioned those things. But do you have one or two most important things that you would recommend any brand to look into if they are having real big issues with profitability and they want to actually fix it really fast?
Yeah, so as I said, it's super important to dig deep into your numbers to understand the true profit margins. So that's why you need to calculate your target ACOS, and you need to, kind of know what's the profit margin you are aiming for, because, sometimes it's super hard to achieve it, and I like to say that sometimes brands are not meant to be sold on Amazon, because they maybe have super thin margins or maybe super, super cheap products. So it's really important to dig deep and check everything. And maybe one thing I didn't mention is that, for example, sometimes also I see that, there's a campaign and maybe you're not performing, but super relevant keyword. But why we are not performing? Because, paid is too high. It's too expensive to advertise. So that's when, we come in and we can calculate the ideal bid. So we can fit into our target ACOS, and that campaign still will be running. We'll be maybe getting less impressions, but at the end of the day, we'll get some clicks and some purchases. So instead of pausing campaign, you just need to work on your bids.
Yeah. And again, as it's getting more and more complicated, like each week, so many changes Amazon is also introducing that you have to be aware of. And my next question is, I think this is a topic we discuss a lot sometimes, but what do you think is the biggest value in actually working in an agency? Like, you deal with so many things now. We have huge team that dealing with so many different aspects of Amazon. Where do you see this biggest kind of benefit and value that agency brings compared to just having one consultant? Because you also mentioned that some brands that just begin, maybe they are fine with just doing it themselves or having one consultant. So where is this turning point that agency comes in and might help the brand to actually see noticeable results?
Yeah, I think, all turns down to the cash flow. So if you have healthy margins for the product, you have good cash flow, and you want to grow fast, and you want to work on your next products, then agency is a great bet for you, because we have so much experience. We are multiple team members. We deal with many problems every day, and we have those SOPs, so we know how to act in each situation, which is key here, because Amazon is such a dynamic marketplace. So you can't afford to go out of stock. You can't afford your campaigns to go out of budget. You can't afford to have, poor creatives, or maybe you can't afford to keep one creative, for 1 year, the same image. You're just leaving money on the table. With agency, you can move fast, and you can, have best experts in house. Sometimes, why I mentioned that smaller brands can move on with the virtual assistants is, if you want to grow slow, you want to maybe give away PPC part, but you still want to handle, all of the other business operations on Amazon. Then, of course, virtual assistant is also a good bet for you.
I think it's also nowadays we see that a lot of experts are being online. I think it's the transparency is important, is that we also try, again, I'm not saying that we're always perfect. We also had some cases where it didn't work, right? So, I mean, it's not possible to make it 100% success, but being transparent with your partner and agency, also with your clients, actually having those questions and discussions, as Nick's mentioned, about the profits, goals, what do you actually expect, and to see if it's possible or not to make it within the time frame that you discuss. If not, then just adjust strategies, because it's getting more challenging. So I think that transparent communication and discussion who actually wants to bring what is important between parties here. So I don't like when people say, oh, it's easy, just within a couple of months you're going to get millions. So yeah, I mean, if you're super lucky, you're that 1% that has TikTok viral video and you have no issues with logistics, maybe you're going to succeed, but it's short term. In the long run, you really have to work on strategies, and sometimes they're boring, sometimes you will see losses, but it all comes down to what is the goal, and to find a partner that can actually give you a direction where to move.
Yeah, 100% good point. And I think we are pretty straightforward. We are not promising anything. We just analyze the market, analyze the data, and based on that, we move forward. So yeah, but that's super crucial.
I think we're also providing a free of charge audit. Even before starting with a client, potential client, we need to understand how much potential this client has, and we are also quite, I would say, pessimistic with our forecast, and that's quite interesting for us to see, to evaluate the market for each brand before we start working. So if you want to get a free of charge audit of your account, reach out to us. And I also want to say here, most of the people in YouTube poll answered that profitability is the biggest challenge. And that's what I want to address and say very important for us as a full service marketing Amazon agency is to create a break-even analysis. If you start on Amazon or profit and loss statements and plan it for 1-2 years at least and show how your profitability will develop, what we expect and where we are moving forward. This is the financial planning and strategy from where we are actually taking actions. And yeah, and it's great. It's great that maybe to outline this one. And I know.
And sorry, not to forget that actually your Amazon sales channel might help you with other channels. So we have some cases where a client just wanted to sell on Amazon to build the store that is actually having good reputation. Then they can find B2B partners in that country. They go to Amazon, they trust it, the system is working well. So it's easier for you to get a new business sometimes through channels like Amazon. So it's also part of the strategy you might want to implement.
Yeah. While we are waiting for Yulia and Miliutina to join, I want to say big thanks, Nix, and maybe, just for those who this might be a recording as well later on, and it was definitely insightful and interesting presentation. You didn't spoke much about external traffic, that's why I asked, but you're definitely an expert in external traffic, especially TikTok as well. So this is a big part of our expertise as well. And thanks, Nix, and we will be looking forward then to get invitation from Yulia to join this call.
And now I think we talked a lot about data, about technical aspects, but sometimes people want to see some results fast and something, what can I do now? And see some results instantly. And I think that's where Yulia might show a lot of interesting tools that you actually can play around to see how the design might change your game, and you can actually notice the results quite fast.
Yeah, true, because with the PPC you cannot develop a really fast results, right? It's a really long-term strategy, and sometimes we saw after the blackouts when the account was closed and reactivated, you need a couple of months to get back, or when someone turned off PPC or did a very bad thing with PPC, you also need to recover with a couple of months. I also want to say we spoke about the agencies versus the internal team before. Yulia, give a word to you, and hi, by the way. I want to say that there are pros and cons for both internal management and small teams for the brands and agencies. But why we are a full service agency? Because if you have an agency who does only PPC or only design or only content, they won't look holistically at Amazon and your business. And as Nix mentioned as well, it's quite dynamic. And once you focus on, let's say, PPC, you need to adjust other parts as well. You need to use the keywords in a listing. You need to see your click-through rates and conversions because of the content. You need to make sure that logistics are aligned and that the fees and profitability is in place. So yeah, it's quite exciting. And one more time, we are a full service agency where we are making sure that we cover all the steps and much more than this, also legal aspects like VAT registration, declarations, of course, all aspects of marketing, logistics, and content. Content is a big part. Yulia, just want to introduce you first and say that you are not, I would say, not just person who knows the design, but who knows the marketing of the design. And this is quite exciting because you manage the designers in our team and you jump with our clients, and you first conduct a marketing research of what a market wants to see from this product, understand the product, and then only give a task to a designer to actually implement the content. And then we have an A/B tests, and we always track how this design performs. So Yulia, word to you. Thanks a lot for joining. You also have a presentation, as I know, and we will have questions in the end of your presentation as well.
Hi everyone. Let me share my screen and let me know if you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, let me start. Yeah, and by the way, great presentations, everyone. And let's talk about the design. So I'm Yulia, head of design at INNELS. And today I will walk you through how visual strategy and listings are evolving in 2026, what trends matter, what actually impacts performance, and how we use AI and design together to build visuals that convert. And let's start what is changing. A lot about AI. First of all, this is going to be a hybrid design workflow. I believe that many designers already works this way. So this is like a combination of AI plus designer working together. We will see richer product visualizations, renders 360 degrees, more angles created by AI. Also, creative cycles will get much faster thanks to AI integration across the whole stack. And brands, I see that brands lean more into user-generated style, images, and visuals, and stronger visual storytelling. So previously, UGC content was only for Instagram, TikTok, but now we see that more and more brands are using UGC content in their listing videos, but also in the Amazon ads, which is quite interesting to follow and to see how it's going to perform. And yeah, before I jump into it, we need to understand why visuals actually matter on Amazon. And the data makes it clear visuals are one of the biggest drivers of buying decision on Amazon. 50% of people say that large, high-quality product images are more important than product description and ratings or reviews. So it means a lot, right? People read less, they really pay more attention on the visuals, and this is important to keep in mind when you sell on Amazon. To understand the impact of the visuals, we also need to understand how visuals convert. When people browse Amazon, their brain moves through these three phases. The first one, scrolling. So shoppers scan fast, they skip most of the products, and your product might be one of them that people actually skip. Second one, a brain pause. This only happens when your main image and your offer is strong enough to stop the scroll. And the third one is conscious engagement. So here where we talk about listing images and premium plus content that build trust and drive action. And with the latest Amazon algorithm update that happened recently, Amazon prioritizes customer experience and relevance. So for us, it means that visuals have direct impact on the customer experience and our KPIs. So main image increases CTR, listing images and Premium Plus improve CVR, reduces bounce rate, storefront build brand engagement, and boost repeat purchases. Here you can see a few real results from our clients. So let's check precision hydration. Here we updated only the main images and we increased CTR by 27%. We gained Amazon Choice Badge and added about 100 sales per day. Another example, Nordic Air. So here we boosted conversion rate by 36%, so click-through rate 30%. And this is just by implementing updated main image. So this really proves how much revenue is locked inside visual optimization. And sometimes updating visuals is easier than PPC optimization maybe. And this is like, if you want to increase your CVR, this is the first thing that you have to do. Another example of CMOS. So here we started from scratch. We created the entire visual pack, main images, listing images, Premium Plus, and all it resulted in 15% of CVR from day one. So it was like empty listing. We started with these visuals, and we started with 15% of the conversion rate, which is really great. And all these changes happened thanks to a structured approach that we use. We never create images randomly. We follow this structure that you can see on the screen. We mix selling images with informational ones. We follow a buyer journey flow. I won't really stop here because we created a full guide explaining our listing images approach with Amazon sales boosting images type. And if you want to get it, just comment guide and we will send it to you. Okay, let's jump to the AI part. I guess it will be quite interesting. So here you can see a list of the tools we currently use. Honestly, 6 months ago, this screen would look different. So we constantly test different tools, and we also understand that it's enhancing more and more, and maybe in a few months we are going to use other tools as well. But what I want to show for now, AI Creative Studio from Amazon, this is a beta version, but we have access to it because we are authorized Amazon seller partner. So I will show a few examples directly in AI Creative Studio, how it can look like and how you can use it. Second one, Gemini and Nano Banana. So previously we used GPT for creating some lifestyle images, but honestly, it fails every time when you need to have specific product details, like, I don't know, some copy on the pack shot. So we switched to Nano Banana, and it really works well for us. I will show some examples. Also, Photoshop and Firefly, of course, you need to have a place where you can actually come up with the final design. This is Photoshop, and Photoshop is great always because currently it also has integration with multiple AI tools, including Nano Banana and Gemini, for example. Creatify. So this tool is really great for UGC style product videos and images. And Flare, so we don't use it that much, but it's good for product photo shoot and studio style scenes. So if you don't want to have any white background photo shoots, or you generally don't have any assets to use for the design, that might be an option for you. And let's see the results from AI Creative Studio. So as I mentioned, this is a beta version, and I believe in the future it will work better and better. For now, there are some pros and cons, but for example, what I see for now, it's really great for creative photo shoots or some creative shots like here. So we had only the pack shot that you can see on the left, and these are the results. So, and this is the prompt that we used. I basically asked to put some flowers on the background. And what I really like is that it keeps all the product details almost perfectly. So we see that, you know, the logo is correct, the copy is correct. Why it's important? Because this might be just a final visual for you. You don't need to go to Photoshop and change the label, because if you want to optimize the process, it takes a lot of time, and this can help us. Another example of the video, you can see it here. So I'm still testing it, and I've been testing a lot of AI tools for the video creation. And honestly, this is hard to find a good one because they always fails again with the product details. And with the video, it's much harder to actually fix it, because with the visuals, you can just go to Photoshop and fix some details here. If it doesn't create the proper visual, you cannot make it work. And so what I see again, it's not great for now with the human features. Like you cannot generate probably a proper face, but here hands are great and texture is great, and the product size is also almost perfect. So another example I can show directly here. Can you see it right?
We are just at the team so excited about this creative studio. We know that Amazon has been developing it already for some time, and we know that it's not available for all the sellers yet. It will be for more and more sellers. This content can be integrated directly to the PPC platform, to your brand campaigns, to sponsor display and other campaigns. From this one single product picture that Yulia is showing, you can generate thousands of different interesting copies, really accurate. And there is also quite exciting data that comes with it, because Amazon is sharing it's basically inside the Amazon marketing platform, and it's very well integrated. You have so much data, and based on, again, like customer the demographics, let's say, and like age or other factors, you can really customize this one. Amazon been, I think, developing it for many months, and I think just a recommendation, I would like to watch their studio interviews on YouTube, because they're providing a lot of tips and speaking, like they have really big plans. Basically, like Amazon just gave money invested in this whole department, like, hey, create for sellers some cool AIs. They failed in the beginning. They did some features, but this one it's not just a beta version, it's just like a full scale tool to play with the creatives at a different level.
And solve the biggest issue, I think, for most of the brands, that photo shoots are super expensive and sometimes takes a lot of time. So basically it's a tool for you if you don't have a lot of creative assets and you don't have that much of the budget. You better invest into the proper strategy and see how those tools can actually generate something for you. You make adjustments. So to be honest, when I first saw that creative tool results that Yulia showed, I was impressed. I was like, I'm following all the AI, what's doing there, but I mean, this looks super nice. I mean, if we take those small short videos, we try to make something like a longer video, like it's a no-brainer. That's a great tool already now to implement in the strategies. Yeah, sorry for interrupting, Yulia, but I mean, it's just crazy to see what's there, and yeah.
Can you see a Creative Studio interface, right? Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show it to you. So you can create a lot of different, I don't know, GIFs or some creative shots for not only Amazon, because you can download it from here. I'm not sure about the quality, didn't really test it, but I mean, this looks great, I believe. Again, I compare a lot of the tools and I see that this performs quite well. But I really like that you can use it for your specific product. So how it works, you add the product, you pick the product from your list, you can upload product images, you can also upload the references, you can also pick the proper ratio, which is great because even if the client has some creative photo shoots, it's very hard to get a proper angle or proper ratio. And honestly, this is a big pain point for me as a head of design. We really have lack of great photos, and for clients it might take money, time to really create everything and to organize it. So it might be really hard, and sometimes you cannot really see the difference between a real photo shoot and AI generated. So maybe sometimes it doesn't even make sense to invest in the photo shoot, unfortunately. But that's what is happening. And yeah, so you can pick the ratio, and you can pick the ratio, for example, this one, and create. Yeah.
Sorry, have you uploaded any videos or photos to generate that video that you showed? So what was the initial content you worked with to actually for this Creative Studio to give the final results?
So it was this image. So first I generated image, and I guess it can create only from the image. So you need to create image first, and then you can convert it to the video. And here it was just a prompt, like animated. I asked to animate it, and the last one was what you could see. I guess this one, yeah, I didn't save it. Anyhow, you see, I'm testing it. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's not really great for lifestyle photo shoots. Like here, this is super unrealistic. Something is happening despite the fact that the prompt was great, I believe, but something is really off here. But again, I can say that this is the tool to watch out, because I see they invest. I see already great results even from the beta version. So yeah, something to keep in mind. And of course, I want to mention that it's important to work properly with prompts. And if you send AI tool just one sentence, and you will be disappointed by the results. So you need to really be specific about angles, maybe some scenes, etc., etc. So we have worked with AI tools quite a lot, and I believe we have expertise, and we also have our own AI prompt guide. So if you want to get it, also comment prompt and we will send it to you. So AI generation will be simpler. Next one, Gemini and Nano Banana. So Nano Banana is image generation tool within Gemini, and you can see a few examples of lifestyle scenes. So why I like it and how we use it for lifestyle image generation, because it works really well with human features like faces, bodies, hands, everything. As you can see here, they look really nice, and sometimes it fails with precise product details. For example, if you have a product pack shot with I don't know, some ingredients or some copy on it, that will be harder. But for this type of the products, it's great. And let's check another one. So we also use it for angle creation. For example, if you have only one pack shot, of course, it's not enough for a proper image strategy. You will want to use different angles and you don't have photo shoots. So this is another solution. You can create out of this one, this angle, for example, and you can see that, again, product details are quite clean. If they are not clean, you can go to Photoshop and fix it a little bit. The same here. I guess it's a good example of creating different product angles. Another one, here I want to show you how actually the final results will look like. So for example, this image we generated, this is the final image. Another example, so we generated this guy, and this is the final result. Another tool, of course, Photoshop Firefly. I believe most of the designers use it. Maybe they don't use Firefly, but Photoshop, of course, this is the key. You need a place to, to pick it, place it all together, the final design. And as I mentioned, it has integrations with different tools. For example, here you can see Nano Banana, you can see GPT. So maybe you don't need other tools. You can do everything in one place. What is also great, they recently announced a new tool, which is called Project Torrent Style. So you can create from a 2D angle, 3D angle. So you upload your, let's say, product pack shot, and it will allow you to rotate it. So 360, you can rotate it and create multiple angles out of it. And again, we come up to the point that white background photo shoot might not be that important in the future, maybe. So maybe photographers have to really start searching for a job. Sorry, it was a joke.
Statement, but I think it's partly true. So,
or
No,
learn
if
marketing
you are
design.
yes, if you're a photographer, so you have to switch either to, I don't know, to be a designer or to organize some creative photo shoots or, fashion industry. You cannot still generate much in the fashion. So yeah, let's see how it's gonna go. Maybe next year we will organize another webinar and we see how it was. Another tool that I discovered recently, and honestly I really like it. So this one is great for user-generated content, what it can do and like how potentially it can be used. So it uses real product images. It keeps labels accurate and generates short videos. It's perfect for PDP videos, for TikTok, Meta ads, social media. But there are some limitations because you have less creative control and videos can look a bit template-like. So here, one of the examples, I don't know if I can switch. So it creates different scenes. I believe that they added capture separately, but also let me show you a few great examples. So if you may know Sora, there was another tool, which is actually not a tool. They positioned themselves as social media for AI-generated content. And what I really like, it really generates a great human features. Like, let's check this one. I mean, it looks great. So she looks real. The products looks real, and it also generates different scenes, as you can see. But at the same time, you have limited control here, so you cannot tell exactly what this model has to do. And also another point that you can recreate. So if you like this video, you can recreate it, and you can, let's say, place your product, and it will generate exactly the same video with your product here and in her hands. Also, you can a little bit recreate the prompt, like you can, ask the tool to generate another human, etc., etc. But from what I see, it looks quite real. I don't know, guys. What do you think? How does it look to you?
really real. I was about to ask about the UGC. Do we still need to create it and request influencers to film the UGCs? But seems like AI can also replace this.
And the previous one, especially, I think as soon as we can do a bit more like editing with prompts and actually do those small changes, this is going to be looking very good. But of course, still, I think there will be some regulations that you have to market AI content. But to be honest, if it's a promotional video, like people would not care that much in most of the case, especially with ecom. So yeah, I think it's already looking amazing.
Maybe one question to you, Yulia. Just wondering your perspective on how much of the content on the listing should be more like similar to UGC with the real person showcasing the like and how much it should be on A plus on the brand store versus the usual infographics, and like maybe how do you combine this all together?
Well, for now we have limitations from Amazon, so they still Amazon still prioritizes images, right? So we have a pack of the images, and then later on the small, button for the videos. But of course, like I guess we see it from our clients as well. So we upload more and more generated content. It also depends on the content. I see that also some people more and more they don't trust this type of the videos because brands pay for this video, so they don't really real. But at the same time, we need to bring this idea to the clients that they need to grow it not only on Amazon. If they have social media, they need to push the idea of people sharing content with their products. And like we have to go to that direction when it comes to using this type of the content on Amazon. So definitely a few videos for the video section, definitely some models on the Premium A Plus, not the videos, but actually we can also use the videos, at least some photos of people presenting the product. So you bring this idea of some community, a growing community. People want to be part of the community. So yeah, that's why it's a trend for 2026. We need to watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's move forward. Tools to watch out in 2026. So these tools are not really for image generation or for the visual generation, but we use them for the whole strategy. For example, listing optimization and CAPLO. They are good for review analysis, for deep competitor and category insights. So you can upload your ASIN there and they will generate review analysis for you, and also they will analyze the competitor reviews and the category. So it's really helpful for getting some insights for the visuals, for the strategy. Product opinion is great for shopper feedback and image testing. So we suggest also not to go directly to Amazon and upload your visuals, but to test it before, because Amazon also a little bit tough in terms of the testing. We have A/B testing tool, but to gather the insights, you need to spend up to 8 weeks. And for example, if you have 10 different main images and you want to pick the best one, you need to go one by one to test one by one to understand which one actually performs better. And this is tough. And we have some tools, for example, this product opinion. So you can go to product opinion to ask real people. So it's not AI. Real people give the feedback. They will pick the best image that they think on their opinion. And you will see, for example, you have two images that gained more votes. And then with these two images, you go to A/B test on Amazon. And when it comes to N8N, so this also not for image generation, but this is AI workflow automation tool where you can connect multiple AI models in one pipeline. So for example, if you have hundreds of ASINs, it will take months for you to create the visuals. So potentially you can use AI workflow here, and you can connect different tools there, and it will automatically create images for you. I also see this is a good option for example, if you have one product but multiple colors. Again, not to do it manually, this tool can do it for you. And next one, so a few tips from our team how to build a visual strategy. As I mentioned, we don't create images just randomly. We use a specific approach. So we start always from the research and analysis. We analyze the competitors, reviews, category, demand insight. Then we create the visuals and the strategy and the visuals, and then we do the testing. So this is the perfect approach for creating any visuals on Amazon, and maybe not only Amazon, any social platforms, e-commerce platforms. And a few tips for main image rules. As I mentioned, that testing is really important, especially for the main images. And we see from the results that main images are really great for getting boost for CTR, CVR, and these are a few rules or tips, I would say, that you can use. Use realistic shadows. We need to understand that we have a huge list of Amazon search results, and there are multiple. We have 48 or 46 competitors only on one page. And how you can stand out from this market. So again, realistic shadows can help you to create a more standing out image by taking more of white space. For example, we see that there are a lot of white space, but this can bring the depth to your image. The clutter, the back shot, this one, I see that many products really skip this one, but this is important because again, we go to Amazon search results and this image is super small and people cannot read what is written on your product backshot, especially if it's filled with tons of the information. So they cannot even understand what it does. So definitely you need to make bigger some parts, for example, your logo, or like here, we made bigger omega-3. We also can add some badges, highly dosed, or some benefits to make your product stand out more. Another one, find the angles that stands out. So this one is also a great example. If you imagine some, I don't know, body cream, most probably most of the competitors will use just the bottle of the cream, right? Jar of the cream, like here with the collagen, and this one immediately will bring attention to the image on your page. Another one, add visual elements and key benefits. So here, of course, we have those compliance and we have rules of Amazon that your image can have only a product and everything that's related to the product. So technically, it's not allowed to use different elements, but you can check your product category. If your competitors are using some elements, it means that most probably it's allowed for you too. So for example, here we added the car and we added some visualization of how product works or what it does. Here we also added some visualization of the product and also the flavor to immediately communicate about some product benefits. Another one is here. You can also see that we added like a background and it was allowed. And it helped us to, again, take more of the white space of Amazon.
Sometimes the worst thing that can be is that they might suppress the listing, but then you just re-upload. So definitely, as Yulia mentioned, to play around with, take a look at the categories. You can be creative. Actually, Amazon giving more opportunity now to be creative with their main image. So definitely take advantage of that. And with this, actually, Yulia, one important question. So you mentioned a lot of like very crucial parts how to develop the content, but how to do the right A/B testing. So let's say if I developed a new main image or secondary images, do I just test it one by one, or how to do the smart A/B testing to get real data on what actually impacted some results in CVR or CTR?
So yeah, also I want to add a few things about main image rules. So ideally, if you go to your Amazon search results and you also understand what other competitors have, for example, if we have also differences between the markets. Let's take Amazon Germany, and you will see that Amazon Germany allows a lot of things on the main images. You can add a lot of different elements, copy, they allow everything. And at this point, it means that all the competitors, they actually use a lot of things and a lot of things are going on. And if you are creating the same image with the same elements, so like you want to add some benefits, you want to add some copy, you want to add some badges. So at this point, your main image won't stand out because all the competitors are the same. And in this case, I guess simpler And the cluttered image, like super simple without any additional elements, will stand out more. So this is also dependent on the market, dependent on the category, competitors. If answering your question, so the proper A/B test would be if you're talking about the visuals, right? So you create multiple variations of the main image. You go to product opinion, you test their all these 10, let's say, visuals. You pick the visuals that performs better, so people voted more. I don't know, let's say 3, 4, 2 images, and then you go A/B test on Amazon. And also, it's important to test one element or one scene at once, because if you create completely different visuals, it will be hard to understand what exactly works, right? Does it work because we added the badge or we added some lifestyle image, things like that. So, and then eventually you will see the results, or you won't. If you see that, let's say you have the old main image and you prepared the new options and your old image performs better, this is problematic. So you need to think what did you do wrong and then to readjust it. And the same you do for listing images, and for Premium and Plus, we can also A/B test Premium and Plus.
Yeah, great.
I
So
hope I
yeah,
answered.
again, with A/B tests, we always separate, ensure that we test one thing to get actual real data. Yeah, but thanks, Yulia. I mean, amazing. It was really interesting to also see these examples. I would encourage everyone who is selling on Amazon during e-com just to dig into pictures, not only from the perspective of how good it looks, but actually marketing and sales behind it. So why do we actually do those things? Who is our ICP, and how do we ensure that we sell them through visuals?
Yeah, and Yulia, thanks a lot. We asked questions and interrupted you in the middle of your presentation, and I think it was great. It was even more interactive. We are a little bit short of time, so I believe that that's it about the design, and we don't have any additional questions because we have just a few right now in the comment section on YouTube, and I will answer them and we can brainstorm them. Feel free to stay, Yulia, as well, because first question is I would actually like start with the second and say, hey team, I'm launching my first product next month. What's the one biggest mistake I need to avoid right now? And here content comes in place, because in the beginning you won't be advertising at a full scale. You need to make sure that the content is performing and that you are matching with the content, and the description of content is not only images, right? It's also the titles and bullet points, but of course the visual part is the most important one, but that you are line and make sure that you clearly communicate what is in a product. Try to think on what people might not like in the product when they receive, and address it straight away on the image or in the text. And yeah.
And yeah, we have an example actually with one of the clients where we started collaboration. They tried to sell it in the past, so they launched the product without proper images. They spent, I think, 8,000 on advertising with maximum of 300 in revenue. So again, this is an example how you can just waste all of your money if you don't have the strategy and the listing in place yet. So it combines both content, what Yulia mentioned, plus strategy that Nick's discussed. So yeah, you first ensure that you only drive traffic to the listing that actually is ready for that. And then you test, and then Amazon sees that you get conversions. The higher your conversion rate is, the better your performance advertising, the more also organic rank and all of your performance in Amazon will grow. So it just makes it easier for you in the long run.
And then maybe one more here question. It's just a funny one. If I use these new AI tools, which I finally have time for will I finally have time for real vacation and next year, or will I just have more time to stress about stock levels? I like the sense of humor in this one, but honestly, when it comes to logistics management and stock levels, there are not many AI tools. It's a great tools which can help you to plan your inventory. And there are a lot of things, a lot of tools that can help you get reimbursements, a lot of tools like Getida, for example, tools that plan your logistics and stocks. It's a Merchant Spring, Seller Board, and etc. And of course, you can also do it manually.
Yeah. And in general, we talked about that it's a business, it's a proper business, that you have new tools, you have new options, but if you want to always grow, outcompete others, I mean, you still have to give it some time, but then you have just more tools and more options to make it smarter and not to waste time on the things that actually will not bring results for you.
Yeah. Then quickly jumping to the next one. Thanks. What's the ideal money split between running PPC ads and testing new visuals? Where should be the priority? Maybe Andrei or you?
I think, that's, Yulia, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that actually this is the wrong way of asking this, because content is not like something that we just, invest and is the same as a PPC. So depending on how good your content is, you will see how efficient you will be with ads. So you can invest 10,000 per month, but on the mediocre listing, and you will get 5,000 in sales. Or you can actually have really great content. You invest 10,000 and you get 20,000 in sales. So you can run the math. It really depends on the case, on the amount of traffic, but it's not just by saying that, okay, I invest 5,000 in PPC, and instead of maybe investing 3,000 in content, I would like to invest 1,000. So yes, now, this time, short term, it seems that you save some money. But in the long run, the most important is that you have the business and you have the product that is ready to actually be sold. And then in the long run, the cost of actually investing in content will go down. Of course, you still need to test things. We talked about new images for creatives, but it just gets more and more efficient. So it's not just comparing which one is more important. Both are equally important. But we talked about that first thing. You first want to ensure that you have the right listing, right content, and then you bring most of the advertising. So then you can benefit from both of those.
Yeah, maybe just a little one I will add and say that look at this differently and try to look what is your click-through rates, what is your conversions compared to your competitors when you do PPC. When it's little, try to look about, of course, price matters, other factors matters, but if you are exactly the same against the benchmark competitor, you always need to have a benchmark competitor, which you are trying to steal most of chunk of the sales and market share. If you see that you do almost the same, but they still, and the same reviews, the same price, and you still have lower conversions, try to invest even more heavily in ads. In content, because with ads simply you won't scale. You will only scale your tacos, which will be higher, but it won't be profitable. Yeah. So
maybe I can add a few things here as well. I see that visuals. This is something you invest once or maybe once in a year, let's say, and that's it. So this is done, and there is no point if we are talking about listing from scratch. There is no point to run PPC even on empty listings. So you just waste your money, and yeah, this is not proper way to ask it or to choose between. So ideally, because I'm a designer, I see that this has a lot of sense to actually invest in the design. Maybe not. I don't know, you don't need to spend a lot of money, right? You just need to create many images, like listing images, okay, and you're done. Also, you can test if there are multiple products. You can start with one product. You can optimize one product, run the PPC, and you will see the results, and then you can invest in the next one.
Yeah.
So it's always a combination.
And two more questions that we have, and we are a little bit out of time, but we definitely want to answer them. Let us know if you have more questions. I also want to add just one more thing. That's why we are constantly testing on a subscription package the content for our clients, not just doing the content once. We are doing it each month, different images, and we test them and we put them and we track the analytics. Another question, next one. Thanks for a webinar. Just one question. For a growing brand, is it smarter to hire an agency in 2026 or build a team inside the company? Thank you in advance. We covered slightly this topic in the beginning. There are pros and cons, but if you hire an agency or if you hire a team, just always be aware that it's very well integrated between the different people who manage your Amazon. If it's PPC, if you have different people for PPC, for design, for in general, like for management of Amazon Sales Central, and make sure that they are all aligned and staying and communicating. And that's what we are doing also at the agency. We are not just a PPC agency, we're taking a full scope and making sure that we are fully taking care of all the aspects. And I cannot say what is more expensive or more cheap, right? Really depends. We saw clients going in-house, some of them after reaching out to them after 2 years. We had a good relationships with them and asking them, how is it working? And some of them said it's actually way better, more profitable. It's less expensive. Some say that we want to switch back to agency, and we also had some cases like this. But if you have a big plans and investment, start with an agency. Sometimes if you want to just test the market, maybe sometimes go with a freelancer or internal hire. And
yeah, I think the most important is to keep in mind, you see, we covered today those topics that how complex is everything, like technical PPC design. You have to be aware of a lot of things, especially nowadays where so many things are changing rapidly. So the biggest advantage of agency, you have people that are specifically working on their niche, and then you are able to kind of get this holistic overview of how to develop the business, where it's not happening sometimes where just one or two people, they're not able to be experts in everything. So I think this is the biggest value, that agency is dealing with all those aspects on a daily basis. Experts are doing this. Plus, we are doing this with different categories, different markets, so we see different trends that we can spot and see and implement in other ones. I think it's all about the speed and opportunity to be efficient with money invested in terms of seeing the results fast and making the decisions after.
And the last one, very quick question. Who are the top Amazon experts you recommend to follow? Maybe Yulia or Andrei, if you have some in mind?
INNELS, following us.
Also YouTube, right?
Well, to be honest, I think back in the days when I was learning at Stephen Pope, my Amazon guy, I think their team talks a lot about Amazon. Dorian Dorsky talks a lot about design. We know that Destiny from Better Media, now they were Better M's, now Better Media, talk a lot about PPC. So definitely those, Minas Elias, I think, hope I pronounced it correctly, talks a lot PPC. I think it's also about just researching, seeing who do you trust and who actually has some results, clients that are happy with the work, and who back up this with real data, because there are a lot of experts that will tell you some facts like now Amazon can do this, this and that, but there is no official article. It's just an assumption or opportunity to sell. So better just to be focused on data and the real paper.
And content from different tools. Helium does cool content, Smart Scout, and in general, I think quite interesting one. But yeah, we are a bit short of time. Thanks a lot to everyone for watching. And if you're interested to receive some of the ebooks that have been advertised today, or some interest in getting a free of charge audit for your account, for your brand on Amazon, or also to receive a free of charge market research, happy to jump on a call, a 20 minutes call, just to learn about your business and give some recommendations later on. Yeah, thanks, and
best of luck next year.
Yeah,
best of luck next year, and most important.
Happy holidays. Upcoming holidays are very soon, so
we'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you. See you.